Hello YouTube, Tyson here again for TVEnthusiast. For today's edition of Top 10 Tuesday, we are taking a look at the best new shows of summer 2017. In order to qualify for this list, the shows have to have debuted between the months of June and August. So let's get started. Number 10. Blood Drive. Kicking off this week's list is Sci-Fi's Grindhouse-inspired series Blood Drive, which provides a ridiculous portrait of excessive violence and exploitative sex. Every episode acts as its own over-the-top Grindhouse film, as well as a continuation of a surprisingly interesting, overarching plot. Number 9. I'm Dying Up Here. Showtime teamed with comic actor Jim Carrey to create this drama about struggling stand-up comics in 1970s Los Angeles. Though at times cliché and uninspired, the tragic lives of stand-up comedians is ripe for good drama. The characters are likable, which helps the audience laugh, smile, and cry along with them. Number 8. The Guest Book. The first true comedy on our list is an episodic anthology comedy series with parallel serialized elements. The Guest Book comes from the mind of My Name is Earl creator Greg Garcia and features a cast largely drawn from both Earl and his other notable series, Raising Hope. While most modern comedies toe the line between comedy and drama, The Guest Book is the kind of pure lighthearted comedy, despite some dark roots, that you would expect from Garcia. Number 7. The Defenders. Marvel's latest Netflix series is an uptick from the previous Iron Fist that just hasn't quite set the series back to an upwards trajectory. Though there is a lot to like about The Defenders, in many ways it is also representative of the biggest faults from Netflix's corner of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What we were looking forward to, namely the character moments between the individual Defenders and the fight scenes, did play out like we had hoped. But what we dreaded, namely the increasingly less interesting villainous organization The Hand, played out like we had feared. Here is hoping for more from Punisher and Jessica Jones Season 2. Number 6. Castlevania. Though the series had a disappointingly short run and spotty art and animation, Castlevania made up for it with fantastic voice performances, a strong story with a sympathetic antagonist, and a no-holds-barred approach to blood and violence, whose absence would have been conspicuous. A second season has already been ordered, and we have even higher hopes for that, as its rush production and short length were among our biggest problems with what the series offered. Number 5. The Sinner. Jessica Biel stars in USA's latest attempt to reach a more sophisticated audience. While not nearly as strong as Mr. Robot, The Sinner is perhaps USA's second best attempt. The shocking turn that sets up the series is followed by a truly interesting mystery that keeps us going back not to find out if she did it, but rather why. Number 4. Ozark. Blame Ozark for the gap between these videos. I knew I wanted to do a best new shows of summer video, but there were a few high-profile shows that I had not yet seen, but felt I needed to in order to make a fair list. Of those 3 or 4 shows, only Ozark made the list, and it placed quite highly. Ozark is a Breaking Bad-esque crime drama about a money launderer who ends up heavily indebted to a Mexican drug cartel. In order to save his life and the lives of his family, he makes a last-ditch bet on opportunities in the Missouri Ozarks to launder even more money for his dangerous clients. Strong performances, a unique setting, and smart dialogue pulls the series along to 4th place on this week's list. Number 3. The Tick. Amazon's new adaptation of The Tick, which we will be talking about on this week's podcast, has secured the bronze on this week's list for its excellent humor, intriguing mental illness take on the central relationship of the series, and the strong performance of Guardians of the Galaxy's Peter Serafinowicz in the titular role. The Tick, as a character, is beautifully portrayed as a mix between Adam West's Batman and Chris Pratt's Andy from Parks and Recreation. The series even managed a timely parody of the Punisher-Daredevil relationship from Season 2 of Daredevil. Unfortunately, Amazon split the already short season into 2 parts, leaving us high and dry until next year. Number 2. Claws. Fans of Orange is the New Black will find familiar territory in TNT's Claws, a female-centric crime drama with a healthy dose of humor to differentiate itself from similar failed attempts. The character relationships in Claws draws upon the same mojo Genji Kohan was able to write into Orange. Great comedic and dramatic performances by Scream Queen standout Niecy Nash, True Blood waitress Carrie Preston, Scrubs' own Judy Reyes, Lost Harold Perrineau, and Breaking Bad's Dean Norris elevate the series into something special. Number 1. Glow. Speaking of Genji Kohan, the Orange is the New Black showrunner deepened her relationship with Netflix on our number 1 pick for the best new show of summer. Glow fictionalizes the story of the 1980s women's wrestling show of the same name. Great performances by comedian Marc Maron, Community's Alison Brie, American Gods' Betty Gilpin, and relative newcomer Brittany Young, as well as a host of other strong female actors, bring Genji's, historical fiction to life. The series is fun, funny, charming, and entirely human. Thank you for tuning in to TVEnthusiast.com or our YouTube channel. Stay tuned to TV Enthusiast for more coverage of all of your favorite shows. Don't miss our weekly podcast, The Weekly Set, which is available every Friday. This week, we will cover Amazon's The Tick. You can access our podcast on your podcast client of choice or through our YouTube channel. See you next week.